Taiku.
Taiku, baby.
you.
Not taekwondo. Taiku.
Nope, my man Lynx is here from the bottom to the top. Now we're here. That's the type of story we're talking about right here.
I'm with you on that one.
Right? That's the story we're talking
for
about. So for all you who don't know, this Lynx he's going to introduce himself. We're going to talk about what he's got going on. But it's an amazing thing because literally you took a chance, rolled with it, and here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So start out your little, introduce yourself, man. Tell us how you came.
First and foremost, what's going on, everybody? My name is Lynx. I'm originally from Virginia, born in Norfolk, raised in Virginia Beach.
VA, baby.
You already know. I've traveled all around this place, been in Toronto, LA. I went to LA for a weekend, stayed for 9 months. No exaggeration.
That's what happened?
No exaggeration.
Wow.
So I had a pretty interesting life. And now I'm back. I want to, make Virginia get the recognition and, just pretty much let it be what it should be.
Yeah.
So you have a success rate amongst you. Everywhere you've gone, he's worked to the point where
a lot.
You're not satisfied unless there's a level of success there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the crazy part, I was just saying this earlier today, like God has made it that I've never failed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't say that.
Right.
So I've had lessons, but I've never failed in anything that I've done.
And I agree with you on that because I look back and everyone says in business, you always get that hard lesson. You don't get successful until you fail. Luckily, if it's luck or what, I don't know, but I haven't yet failed. Things might not have worked out like I wanted them to, but I haven't failed.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the failure part of it is someone's mindset. And when you have to rise out of that like a phoenix, it's because you allowed yourself to fail mentally.
Absolutely.
But I don't believe I believe failure comes with your mental mindset. And I don't think, just talking to you knows, I can tell you.
You don't fail.
Yeah, I had to learn a lesson the hard way. So pretty much I'm from Norfolk, from Diggs Park.
Okay.
Just in Norfolk, Virginia. So my mother was a guidance counselor school teacher in Norfolk Public School. Got me out of Norfolk, got us to Virginia Beach Public School. And then from there, ironically, I ended up owning a club at the age of 19.
Where was that club?
Whew, the Cave.
Some people remember it.
My man, Mike
in the late
Robbie
90s.
owned the Cave still.
The Cave. So
my man.
Interesting story. We're going to backtrack to that at the end of this conversation. But
and again, burnt hands, hospitality, bars, restaurants, all those.
Liqueur,
here you are right now, right into the mix. Shows you that most anybody who's anybody has worked in this industry.
Yeah.
Yes.
You learn a lot in this industry. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about people. If you do it the correct way, you learn a lot about life. Yeah. Because there's not a chance that one day something's going to happen. You have to be prepared to handle it. So it's like, that's just how life is. If something happens, you can't just sit around and say, whoa, it's me. You can take the time to reflect on it, but you have to fix the problem. You have too many people depend on you to not fix the problem.
Hospitality means to be hospitable, and when you're hospitable, you have to take on a lot of crap.
And you make money.
And almost put on a facade to be able to deal with it and work through it. So again, like you said, at a young age, you're forced to deal with a lot of it.
19. How did that happen? Where they said, "Hey, here's a club at the oceanfront. Like,
hey,
I
kid.
think you want to buy this? You're 19. Like,
pretty much, I have a sister. You've met my sister. I have an older sister, and we had friends. So I was always the young one trying to run around and learn from them. So growing up, my brother produced with Tim and Pharrell, and so I was always one trying to soak up knowledge. My brother had a Geo Metro. So I'm in the back of the Geo Metro in a hatchback in the trunk.
Oh, what color was it? Hold on.
Blue.
Oh, it was the blue one. Okay, because they had the fun colors. Sorry.
They did. He had a dark blue. He's regular.
Okay.
So I'm in the back seat just trying to learn from him. So my sister had these guys. One guy was named Rico, and he was just teaching me about life. And he was like, look, I'm going to invest. So I'm going to purchase this club. I'm going to make you run it. So he made me a part owner of this club at the age of 19. So what I did was I made the club a 25 and up club. Can't even drink legally.
You were 19.
I'm 19, say I don't want nobody my age coming
in. Your friends can't even get in.
You're trying to set the standard.
I'm like, look, because with all due respect, when we looked at the club initially, it was a punk rock club.
Yeah.
It was like, I saw where it was going. There's no disrespect to anybody of that nature, but I had a vision of what I wanted it to look like. So I wanted it to be a place where you came in there, you had fun.
And it was a punk rock club.
It was definitely a
That was almost like the CBGB of the beach.
It was.
Virginia Beach. I mean, it was a punk rock club. I used to go in both levels. So, so I went through the steps of it. Yeah.
So, you saw the evolution of it.
Of course. Yep.
So it was that type of scenario. And my mindset was like, okay, cool. If I make it this type of an establishment, these type of people will come and it'll just enhance the oceanfront as a whole. Like, again, even back then. So by that time when I was 19, I went to Miami, went to the University of Miami, played basketball there. Every time somebody asked where I was from and I would say Virginia, they were like, oh, y'all ride horses and y'all sleep with your cousins and y'all. I'm like, no, that's West Virginia. But
I'll sleep with your cousin. I don't know.
Yeah,
Not mine.
Exactly. So I was like, I wanted to get that mindset of us being so, slow and so against the times
Yeah.
that I wanted to do my part to make that happen. So the first thing I did was I had an opportunity to run a club and own a club at the age of 19.
How'd it work? Everything went well? You
Everything
learned some
went
shit
well.
there, huh?
So this is the funny part. So I ended up leaving there. It was successful. I left there, and I went to work on Wall Street.
Why not?
I mean, why not? Why the
Why
fuck
not?
not? That's a natural transition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Didn't finish college.
Yeah.
When I went to Wall Street, didn't even know what a stock was.
Were you on the floor and shit screaming or what?
I will show you a picture. I was I ended up running tickets first. So I ran tickets. Then I ended up being a backup clerk, and then I ended up being a specialist. So when you see people yelling and screaming, I was the person who they're yelling and screaming at.
Perfect.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
So again, you had to learn how to be hospitable.
You're taking all the heat all the time.
You have to learn how to control your crowd.
Yes.
So it's like I took what I learned from the nightclub and the restaurant perspective and just applied it to now Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Sure.
So now I'm on Wall
Half
Street.
of them were drunk and high anyways. So it didn't-
Absolutely. And
Or high.
That's the crazy part.
And not drunk yet.
The first time they take me out, is what people don't know, it's a bar on the 9th floor of the New York Stock Exchange trading floor.
Ah.
So once I got to a certain level of talent on Wall Street, my specialists would leave. So they would open up the stocks at 9:30. 10 o'clock, they're gone. Upstairs to the bar. 3:30, they're back to close the stocks.
Sure. Drunk.
Drunk. I'm
Oh
like,
my
you know what
gosh.
you're doing, Lynx? Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I would just close the stock. So again, you know what I'm saying? Like I learned alcohol plays a part in some of everything for some strange reason. But even when it came to getting clients. So, we had to, what people don't know, on the trading floor, you have to fight for these traded IPOs. So I remember when Facebook came, so every company has to pretty much sell themselves to this company. I ended up going out with the people from Facebook. I took them on a night at a town in New York, and we won the stock, won the IPO.
Perfect. That's all it takes. Hospitality.
That's it. Hospitality.
Wow.
And
Black and white.
just knowing what people like. So
Yep.
then we get to the infamous Taiku brand.
So this is the funny part
Tycoon
is
brand,
we
right
were
there.
friends through mutual friends.
Yes.
And been to dinner, and
Absolutely.
did not know any of this because, again, you're not super public with a lot of this stuff. So I'm dragging you out into it. But Taiku, the sake that they make, I have drank for a long time. And when you said the name, I immediately knew what it was. And I was like, that really, right here in Virginia, 1 degree of separation. This is something that I've been consuming and didn't even know that you were a part of this part of it. So it's interesting. I just want to know how it happened.
So this is the wild part. I have a best friend. Her name is Persia. We used to call her Diddy. Can't call her that no more.
Switch name
Yeah,
switch.
now she's changing her
Now
name.
she's
Identity.
calls herself
Identity change.
The best friend, formerly known as Diddy, is what she calls herself, which is hilarious.
All right.
So long story short, ironically, I met this brand at Puff's restaurant, Justin's. So I'm there. It's my best friend's birthday. It's really like 5 people invited, but for some reason, 50 people show up. So a bunch of her friends played for the Giants, and some of my friends played for the Knicks. So all these people out there, right? New York has a different set of rules.
Sure.
So
It's called There Are None.
but pretty much. So it's a very popular tequila brand that I only drank the platinum version of it. So when they ran out of the platinum version, they had the regular version. I'm like, I hate this. So somebody randomly, that's a friend of a friend, I got invited. He's like, I have something that takes away the burn when you take the shots of that liquor. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's try it. Pulls the bottle out.
This one.
That one.
Taiku liqueur.
Taiku liqueur. Pulls the bottle out.
Look at that. Double cap for your pleasure.
Oh, I know, yeah. We're safety first.
Safety first here.
Oh, triple cap. Come on now.
No, hey.
What's under this one? It's like a Russian thing. What's those things called?
Child
Dolls. Russian doll of
Hey.
liquor.
Child,
Yeah.
want to protect all the kids.
All right.
So
Go on. I'm listening.
So he pulls it out, we take the shot, and the burn is gone. I call all the boys over. I call my boys from the Giants, call my boy from the Knicks. We order 50 shots. He does it to all 50 shots. All them take the shots.
And just put a little bit in there? Is that
a
what you
little
said?
bit in it. Just
Yep,
killed
yep.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So come to fast forward, now it's the All-Star Weekend in Las Vegas. But it's also it's magic. So my cousin's heavy in the fashion industry. I do the dumbest thing in the world. I booked Vegas for 2 weeks. For those listening, the max you should stay in Vegas is probably 3 to 4 days. I
2
booked
weeks.
2 weeks in Vegas. So I
Right.
go for Magic, and then we roll over to the All-Star Weekend. While we're there for All-Star Weekend, the person that actually owns the liquor comes out. We go to Nobu. Again, we go to Nobu, and I have mutual friends that know 50 Cent. So me and 50 know people through mutual people. I had already told 50 about the liquor. So when we get to Nobu, we go to the upstairs area. 50's there with a whole bunch of people that I know.
And Nobu on itself is in my world. Now we're talking my style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I pull, he again has a bottle on him. 50 takes a picture with the bottle and was like, oh no, post it. Do whatever you have to get, to get people to follow it. Perfect. Fast forward, we start seeing more people. We see Floyd Mayweather, we see a whole bunch of people, and everybody I know, I'm like, hey, this is the liquor I was telling you about. Because at this point, I've told everybody about it.
Yeah.
Because
So you're networking. You're doing your work.
That's it.
Yep. That's what you got to do.
And then I didn't last 2 weeks in Vegas. I left the 10th day. 10th day I woke up. I said, y'all have my credit card on file. Get me a flight. Get me out of here ASAP. And that's what they did.
Yeah. Or else you ain't leaving.
Yeah. So when he comes back to New York, he's like, look, I want to meet with you. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, what would you charge me to introduce me to these celebrities? I'm like, if I know them, I'll just do it. I'm not going to charge you. I like your product. I like your brand. I like you. That's it. Again, hospitality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, look, what I want to do is I want to take this mainstream. So I want you to have some involvement with it. So then from that, I ended up purchasing some small amount of shares into the company. So that's how I became a part owner of the brand.
Wow.
Perfect. There you have it.
Describe it, because this is something that a lot of people aren't familiar with.
Asian
anyways.
influence.
Yeah. So obviously it's made in Japan.
It's made in Japan. It's made in Nara,
Okay.
Japan, which is where sake is made. And that's the thing. So the thing about the tradition, what I love the Japanese culture is this brand in particular, and on all sake brands, is about interaction. So for instance, if we're all drinking, I will pour your shot, you will pour his, and you will pour mine. So
Yes.
it makes the engagement happen.
Yeah.
So this brand itself, the funny part was 2 people that started the brand were Jewish. One guy was Mormon. Then you got the black guy. So it's like nobody's.
Sounds like
You,
a
a
joke.
Mormon, and a black guy walk
Walk
into a bar
with a bottle of sake.
with a bottle of sake.
So nobody has any Japanese or Asian descent in them whatsoever.
Wow.
That was my next question to you. So my question that I was wondering about
Yeah.
this is, how did you
Uh-huh.
influence a genre or a culture? How did you breach that? How did you breach the walls of that culture? So sake, we think there's a lot of, I can sit here in my industry, my wine knowledge, and kick off sake knowledge after knowledge, but it's not necessary. I know enough to know that even at any level to break that or to get into that level of being internationally competitive,
Yeah.
how did you go about breaking that?
So I have to give them all the credit, and they told me the story. So they actually went out, and in order for them to be produced in Japan, because they're very strict about their culture,
Correct.
they had to sleep in the rice fields. They had
Sure.
to show that they were determined and they were focused
Wow.
to keep the tradition. They were not going
So
to
they
just,
slept outside in the rice field.
Yes.
Mosquito bites, malaria,
Whatever's out there, they did it.
Whatever.
They
Coming
did
at
it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. And
panthers.
that's that part. That showed their dedication to the brand and to keep it. And they also had to make sure they only produced it there. So you couldn't just take it and then just manufacture it
Make it
somewhere
in the
else.
U.S. or
If
anywhere
you
else.
want to take their culture, you want to take their
Okay. So they're using their traditional and cultural
Yeah.
rules and their regional rules and applying them to you. If you want to do it, you got to come here and do it our way.
absolutely.
So how is this made? What is this how is this actually
that's
come
the
together
great
with the
thing about-
flavors?
So this is soju based. So soju, which is my dog's name, ironically.
Hey,
Branding.
where my soju's at?
Where my soju's at? So soju and sake is rice based. So it's like grain and then distilled and purified. So it's different grades of sake. So the one thing I want anybody to get from this conversation, well, 2 things. One, of course, hard work over everything, and relationships. And 2, though, when it comes to sake, everybody wants to drink hot sake. What people don't understand is hot sake is what's called futsu. So that is like taking a bottle of the worst $2 liquor and just heating it up to hide the imperfections.
Oh, that's exactly it. So whenever you want to warm up the sake or something, it's because it's more easy to drink. It's almost like dumping a little bit of this into that label you didn't want to
Cuts
mention.
That part.
And I know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
However, it's almost like that. You're going to mask it so it's acceptable.
That part.
And it made it good.
Yep.
So drinking hot sake is, well, I do like it, but I don't like it on a really good sake because you lose
That
the
part.
components. You
And
know
that's what I had to cheat somebody. Like one time, and not even trying to cross over, one time we were out and I had a bottle of Ace of Spade and somebody put orange juice and made a mimosa with the Ace of Spade. And I looked at the person that invited this person, and they knew what my face meant. If you don't get this person out of our section, I'm going to kill somebody.
Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah, that's it.
And you're 86.
It's like your ketchup on your steak.
Yeah, that part. So it's
My
like,
God.
So the thing about sake and what our brand is, it's different levels. So we have the first 5-star rating for Daijinju, Jumai Daijinju sake. So that's the highest purification of sake you can get. And the thing I like about the brand is it's nothing but it's thought. It's a whole thought process with it. It's the people that hired, we were all athletes. Of course, people know athletes like to drink. And, you would go out and be like, okay, look, so if I'm drinking and I got a game the next day, this is all natural. No glutens, no tannins, no sulfites, no sugars. So there's no hangovers. I used to have a thing that I would tell people, if you drink this and have a hangover, I will give you $10,000. Like that's how, but it got to be just that. Like people try to have every other drink. Like I drank 18 things of gin and I had Tycoon and I got a hangover. That had nothing to do with Tycoon.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You busted the
Not
rules
that.
there.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how the brand came to play. It's got hints of elderflower and
I can smell it.
Yeah.
It's very herbaceous, very
Yeah.
floral.
Yeah. So it's
But
all
I get some
natural.
herbs in there.
It's not, but it's not sugar. Like it doesn't taste sweet.
sugar,
Like if
no
people
sweet.
are looking at that thinking it's like hypnotic or something that's like, or passion, the one that, it's light. Like it's really light.
It almost seems by the nose more of a botanical
It is.
Yeah.
liqueur than it is a sweet, cordial.
It is.
so
And that's the thing.
I
It's
love
funny
it.
you mentioned hypnotic because that's actually how the brand kind of pushed on my side of it. So I was in charge of the urban activation of it.
Okay.
So the person that started Hypnotic is a close friend of mine. So when I kept trying to get into all these other events, they would not let us in. And he was like, oh, that's Lynx? No. Okay, go ahead. So at that point, he was working with Ciroc. So what we end up, that actually got us a lot of national attention, we ended up doing Puff's 40th birthday party.
Oh, wow.
So we came up with the first illuminating bottle. So we couldn't keep the padding on the bottle lighting up, period, but we do have the title of the world's first illuminating bottle.
And that would illuminate nice.
Yes. So like
Plus with that liquid right there, the color of that.
You said that was a
it's amazing.
750.
750. So
though.
the 750. And what we did was like, if I'm at a bar and I see you two, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to push my brand.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let me get 3 shots of Taiku. So when they pick up off the bar, it
lights
stands up.
That's
Sure.
genius marketing.
So and it's got that Midori green to it, almost a little bit lighter. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I'm gonna
Well,
take
we
a sip of
mixed
this
it-
right out the bottle.
Go ahead.
Because I want to know what the
Yeah,
herb's
go
all
ahead.
about.
Feel
Sure,
free.
go
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We're all friends. It's
That's it.
okay. It's easy to drink, right?
It's actually delicious.
Yeah, it's delicious.
All that other stuff in there actually takes away from it.
Yeah, I
you try it
made
straight?
cocktails. Oh yeah, no, I drank
It's
it
good,
straight
right?
already.
It's very nice. It's got a little viscosity to it.
Why are you asking me
Almost
that
like
question?
it's almost got a you said the botanicals, the herbs. I'm actually getting a little bit of a cucumber minty mix in there as well. So that's what I'm tasting.
And then I can't legally say this, but it's a natural aphrodisiac as well.
You can say that legally
You
on
can
this
say
show.
that here
'cause
on
the
this
show
show,
don't give a
hey.
fuck. So if you
Fuck your oysters. Drink
so
Taiku.
basically who's trying to fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have a sip.
That's it.
Hey girl. No, but that's good, man. It is. I like it.
This is when we let Tony write ads for different brands. Taiku, Faku. I don't
Yeah.
know. We can come up with some. I don't know.
Are
we
you
can
down
come
to
up
fuck?
with a whole.
Taiku.
I don't know how I even take that. It just sounds crazy.
If we get going, we can come up with some shit.
You know what? I want to come back and hear what y'all come up with.
Just
I'm
yeah,
all for it.
we'll
I'm all
create
for
a
this.
list. We can create a list for you.
The best thing about having our own show and our own channel is that we can do and say what we
Nobody
want.
can
We
fire
have
us.
we have a great support network. No matter how big, they're all awesome people,
Yeah.
and they all want to hear what it is for real, and that's what we give. We try and have a little bit of professionalism to us because this life is professional.
Absolutely.
There are aspects of it that are professional, but in the hospitality world, in the restaurant world, especially in the bar world, there's a lot of shenanigans as well.
Absolutely.
And if we don't continue bringing on the shenanigans, then I feel that we're being fake and we're doing a disservice to the actual hospitality world. Because for every professional person walking through it, they had to go through all the shenanigans. And sometimes they get so high, they forget about the shenanigans. They turn their back to it. And the shenanigans is what keep us together. It keeps us going. You know what I mean? And I'm all for the shenanigans, the fuckery, and the taikuery.
Well, and it built the industry, and it's funny because we look at these brands and we see some that do start small, but then they get colossal behind them, and then they get commercialized. And knowing that, again, I was drinking the cucumber and the coconut of the sakes they make are amazing. Just for sipping at home, they're delicious. And so when he said it, and I was just like, God, I was like, to make this hyper local and for people in the 757 to know, there are parts of these things, not just the distilleries here, but other brands that people actually still rep from this area. So I just like that it ties it all back together and brings you back in.
And that's the great part with it, because it's like you said, initially when I was going to come here, I can't front. I had on, black slacks, a black button up. I was like, you know what? I want to have a real interview.
You got
Let me
the
just go
whole
ahead-
stuff in the water.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Look at us. We're chilling.
So,
Yeah.
So she's always looking dapper,
Always.
so
This-
it doesn't matter anyway. So that's
I'm
comfortable.
I'm always
for her.
overdressed.
What's
Whatever
her
I put
comfortable?
on, I knew it was
She
going
wears that to the
that.
gym.
I would believe that.
I have actually deadlifted in heels before. So
Yes.
don't put that past me.
I'm not doubting that.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Sometimes it just
You know what I
works.
mean?
But no, I do love it. And I know you had some questions just on manufacturing. You're getting this stuff here, getting it into different states. For people that are looking at, coming into brands, I mean, how, I know they kind of had this in place when you came on board, but
Yeah.
what did you learn out of that?
Well, that's the crazy part, because I'm a fold on to that twice. So like you said, we're made in Japan, shipped over. They came up with the genius idea, because like I said, we had the first illuminating bottle. So they ended up giving the company that made our bottles a percentage of ownership of the brand. So therefore, every time a bottle sells, they get a percentage of the sale of the bottle.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's good to know. So I'm in the process of making my sauces at a very high level, a fine Italian sauce, not something that's going to be a
Not Prego or
yeah, right.
whatever.
We're not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to do anything to
Ragu,
get
what is
quantity.
it?
I'm looking for quality.
Absolutely.
And I want to put what I do in my restaurant, what I do as a chef in a bottle. It took me a long time to perfect the recipe, but relating to what you're about to say, I hope, and where I'm going to get some knowledge hopefully out of this, is the biggest problem I had come across was finding the proper production bottling plant who could do what I do, who can mimic what I do. And luckily I've come across that and found it. They hit my recipe right on the head, first try, sent it back, first test, everything was perfect. Now I'm going into the labeling. Now I'm looking into labeling, and every time we create a label, we look at it again and say, shit, you overthink it every time, because it's your one chance and it's what it's going to be. This is perfect labeling. It hits the point right away. I have to do the same, right?
Yeah.
So do you ever think about that when you're coming into your marketing of your labeling and stuff, moving on into the future? Do these things happen, or where do you go about that, and how do you go about that? I guess what Kristen was
the whole
asking.
brand development process, because you said you're kind of looking at a new venture now too.
Yeah.
So this is a whole another brand.
That's ironic. So once I leave here, I'm going to meet with my other business partner, because that's the thing. Like I said, I want to bring it back to Virginia, like you said. So even though I had a bar called Taiku Bar on the oceanfront, named after the liquor, just to kind of bring that exposure back, I now want to develop a sake in the States, in Virginia, back at home, and just try to see how that plans out.
Okay.
So we're actually having a meeting to figure out marketing. So that brand's going to be called Shidoshi. Shidoshi is pretty much just a...
Your mentor, your master.
Yeah, exactly. See,
My favorite movie is Bloodsport, so
Kumite.
it's yours, Shidoshi.
Mine's Kung
He
Fu
is mine,
Panda, so I'm
Shidoshi.
down.
Close enough. So we're actually we have some things about marketing that we feel like what we want to do is, when you look at it anywhere, it stands out. So we have some things in mind that are around, that when you see it, even though it's not affiliated with Shidoshi, you'll still be like Shidoshi. So that's what you want to do. You want to actually always make sure you're on the forefront of somebody's mind, to the fact that, for instance, Kool-Aid is not the only powdered product. When you see a powdered product, no matter what flavor, you're going to call it Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, right? That's because it hit hard with that market.
Yeah.
It went inside you,
Absolutely.
with that, inside your
Yeah.
soul. So coming up with your new one, you have to come up with what's inside the bottle as well.
Yes.
That's a whole nother thing. Is that a lab project, or is that something that you kind of just keep to yourself?
Well, my thing is this. Even when I was at Taiku maining, I had flavors I wanted to try. But of course, like I said, I was a shareholder. I wasn't the be-all. I wasn't the end result of it. So,
Sure.
I had to get approved through other people. Fortunately for them, they actually expanded the brand to what's called Davos brand. And under Davos brand, they now have Aviation Gin and a couple other products.
We're all familiar with Aviation Gin.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with some people that has recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not at the bottom anymore. You're working your way up.
Yeah.
So by the time you get all this knowledge and all your gaining of education, and you're going to put it into your own brand,
Absolutely.
you have a little bit of a head up on
Yeah.
a normal person like myself who's starting to put my product out there.
Yeah. And then the person I'm actually doing a brand with actually owns a bottling company. And he does this for other brands.
Okay.
So it's like, we actually met through our mayor of Virginia Beach. And the relationship, we sat down, I'm going to say within 10 minutes, we automatically clicked. Forgot the mayor was there. He left. We just started talking about everything else.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And
He's got to go get his votes. You're good.
then after that, we just you know, he found out who I was and what I did. We conversed, and I had these ideas in my head I wanted to try out. He had some, so we sent samples out. Came back, my birthday party probably 2 years ago. Just did a silent tasting, not telling people what it was, what we were doing,
Okay.
and people love the 4 brands we came up with. So
Okay.
that's what we're going to initially start with.
So a
So
silent
you've
tasting
already
is a
been
good
doing,
idea.
yeah, and also
That's a
market
good-
research you already
absolutely,
started,
sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Because with all due respect, what I'm learning is when people, what's the best way to put this? When people know you, and especially if they depend on you in any financial circumstance whatsoever, they're going to say yes to anything.
Sure.
How's this taste? This is amazing. This is great.
Yeah.
But if you do a blind testing, or if you do it with people that are
Don't
your
know you.
peers, don't know anything that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
just have them try it out, you'll get honest opinion.
Sure.
Mm.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted
smart.
very honest opinion.
And that's the way to do it, because you're right. I mean, that's the whole thing with my sauces are almost done and ready to put out there. And I'm excited about it. And I know how they do. I've made a living off of them. And all the people that work with me as my teams have made a living off of them. So I already know they're tried and true. Now it's just getting it out to the consumer outside of my restaurant. So it's a matter of how do I take, like she said before, she mentioned Prego or Ragu or Rayos or all these people who are mass producing these sauces that when you think, let me get, people say I want spaghetti tonight. Well, spaghetti's the noodle. What they're talking, that's the type of pasta. They're thinking about the whole spaghetti meal is spaghetti or spaghetti sauce. So how do you breach that? That's in my thinking. I'm not necessarily asking you. So I'm literally asking myself, how the hell am I going to take a more expensive, more quality, more high-end sauce and convince people that it's worth jarred sauce when it absolutely
2 or
is?
3 times the money because
right,
it's quality. It's not.
I'm gonna tell you where I messed up, where we all messed up initially when we started with Tycoon. We hit every market besides the one that we already had already. So by that I mean we went to LA, we went to Toronto, we went to Miami.
Sure.
Didn't hit New York. We had all the relationships in the world in New York. Didn't touch on any of them.
Right.
So my thing with you is your sauces have already been approved by your base here.
Right.
First of all, I would start by selling it in your restaurant.
Ground zero and workout.
And then on top of that, I would start going to the local stores. What I realized once we start hitting the bases in New York City, if you went to the places that were not as huge as the other ones, they were looking for partnerships.
Sure.
So it's like if you go to a
Taste Unlimited, something like this.
something like a
Local busy
smaller,
sandwich
just
shop,
smaller.
something like that.
And then the thing is, with your product, people understand quality. So don't ever get it confused, especially in this area. It's money out here.
Sure.
So it's like if somebody's willing to pay $75 for a shot that's gone in 2 seconds, they'll pay $20, $30, or whatever your price point is for
A meal.
sauce.
Really good.
A meal.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Even if you go out, for instance, I'm sure your jar of sauce, which is going to be phenomenal, isn't the same as it would cost to feed a family of 4 here in your restaurant.
Of course. Yeah, right. Exactly.
So if I have a family and I don't want to come to the restaurant, but I still want to have that experience of eating here, why would I not buy your sauce?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Restaurant, fine Italian sauce quality is how I'm going to push it. But talking to you inspires me because what you just said is a lot of lines I've already spoke to you about.
Yeah, we
in our
talked
private
about it.
conversations is starting local, think globally and act locally.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of the approach I'm
Well,
going to
we
take.
always, in the marketing world, we always say become the mayor of your own town before you start running for more offices. So you have to kind of conquer, and it is the cheapest because you're not paying an extra ad spend. You already have connections. It's free organic marketing.
Yeah.
So that builds your street cred, and then you use that and parlay it into development and being able to know, okay, this is our feedback. We can do market research. We can say our ROAS on this is going to be because these people like it, so we're going to target this demographic. And yeah, I mean, becoming the mayor of your own town is one that I don't think. Yeah, I've used that for at least a decade with our clients.
It's a great analogy because that's what you have to do. If you, like you said, if we're already focusing on one specific group in one specific area in one specific region, you might as well, you have to cap that out before you can even move on to your next one.
Yeah.
Because you're going to move in blocks in a sense.
Yeah.
You can't, like you said, maybe you went to Toronto. I'm sure it worked out well for you, but you probably would have got a little bit more money to go to Toronto if you focused on the local sales there. And that's what I'm going to try and do is use I just honestly love doing what I'm doing. And I honestly just don't think enough people have access to good quality food anymore.
Well,
and I want to put together something that somebody can go, look, if it costs $14 for a jar of sauce, where you typically pay $8 or $9, that's $14 of sauce that is going to make a meal at your house. that is just as good as my restaurant.
Nutritious.
Okay. And we're talking about feeding 4 people in a high quality standard, right? So to me, it makes sense. Now, to the person looking for a budget sauce, it's not gonna. So marketing my local area to believe in that, they're gonna send it to their friends, and eventually it's gonna grow out like a plague or something. Hopefully, that's the goal, right?
And that's my thing. Like even with me, if I may, I want to volunteer my services. We still have connections because the sake was in certain grocery stores as well. So we still have connections with the Harris Teeters and things of that aspect. And I know they're always
Or
looking,
distribute, like,
okay.
okay.
They're always looking for stuff to put on the shelves. And if you push the special, the local aspect of it, you know, I'm sure, because I've seen sauces in there for $14, $15 that I wouldn't touch because I've never heard of them.
Sure.
But if I see your brand,
Right.
I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to, I don't have to wait 2 hours to get a table. I can just go ahead and have the same type of glorious meal at the house.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it is pretty cool. And I think, and so this is another thing that I think we talk about generational a lot when it comes to this business. Like you came up in it when we came up in it, like, late 90s into the early 2000s of just crazy, hardworking, 7 nights a week, running hard. And now the people out there don't know, but you also run Home Care Medical. You have another company that's in how many states?
Well, we're in Virginia, North Carolina. We're looking to expand on top of that, but that's the family business, and we love it.
Yeah, so you have a full-time business.
Yeah,
you are doing this.
Yeah,
and to everybody out there that says it's too hard, what do you have to say to that?
It's only too hard when, number one, you don't have a purpose. Like I know for a fact I have a purpose. We have a family business. I work with my sister. I love going to see her every single day. We have the best relationship. You've seen me and my sister.
I love your sister.
We have a great relationship. So, to the fact that if we're mad at each other as brother and sister, which is very rare, we still operate business well. If we're mad, have a disagreement business, we're still like, let's go out to eat as brother and sister. So I have, like you stated, I have the family business, I have that liquor, I have another liquor, I have everything I do for the city, and then I'm in the process of potentially opening up a restaurant as well.
Ah, good for you.
So
let me know if you need that talk.
Look, we would definitely have that.
I'll be here for you, man.
So it's like, again, I do everything because I know I have a purpose, and I know it's more for me to do than what I've done now, and it's for the population. It's for the people. So I've come from a generation when my mom was a single mother. She had me and my older brother. We were not the easiest people to deal with.
Sure, as a team, even
moves to Virginia Beach. I've seen this woman do everything and never complain. I have people that's in the industry now. One of my closest friends is a very well-known rap artist from this area. I've seen her be completely humble. When I've seen her have to do 2,000 things in one day, you get it done.
Yeah.
Excuses are just reasons to not succeed in life. So it's like, if you want to make an excuse, you can. We can make. I'm sure all 3 of us right here can make an excuse to not be here, to not work, to not do anything. You can make an excuse, but why? The same amount of energy it takes to not do something is the same amount of energy it takes to do it. So.
Exactly, and the excuses is where people go wrong. Because I found out in my life that I don't make excuses anymore. For instance, I'm going to use just last night as a prime example. Last night, I didn't want to do anymore. There was no excuse. I didn't need to tell anybody why. I just didn't want to do anymore. I've decided I want to go home. That's what I decided. And I executed that with as much precision as I do when I do the other 2,000 things you were talking about. When I'm ready to make a decision, there's no excuse. I don't need to owe anybody an explanation. So no matter what it is, there is no excuse. And I agree 100% with you that we can do, and she's good at it, I'm good at it, and you're good at it. Yes, there are 1,000 things to do in a day. But when you wake up in the morning and accept that, the only thing stopping you is you. That's it. Yeah. Nothing else is stopping you. Yep. People will try and hinder you. Situations will pop up that may you have to reroute your day. But that just means tomorrow you might have 1,200 things to do because 200 things got held back today. It doesn't mean you're going to stop doing them. It means you just got to do them more later. There's no stopping, right? So I think that, like you said, I 100% agree with you. I don't think your excuses are the reason. You make excuses in your head because you don't understand your path. You don't have a goal. You don't have an end game. You're just running around in your head just as crazy as a dog chasing his tail.
It's purpose. Yeah, it is. I mean, if you want to, you're building a company for other people to enjoy. You're building things that you want to bring joy to people's lives, let them have fun. Like there's a purpose behind it. But when you always compare to, like, you watch Shark Tank, whatever, and you look at the guys sitting up there They got the same amount of time in the day that you do. And they're managing 300-400 companies where they're touching probably a good majority of that daily, obviously through channels, but they're touching it.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. You can ask them a question about their businesses, they're going to know.
Sure.
So why do you have so much trouble with one job and can't make something happen when these people are doing that much? And that's where, you know, I mean, this industry teaches you to work hard because you have to.
People ask me a lot of times. They ask me all the time. I don't see how you do it. How do you do it? How do you do all the shit that you do? My only answer to them, and I honestly say this, is how do you not?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for why I do things. I just do them. I have a question for you. How can you not? How can you sleep so long and go home early and take a break and worry about your next break? That's
What's
how
that
you.
like?
So how you understand how to do that is how I understand how I do what I do. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it,
ingrained.
and you don't know how I do it, and I don't owe you an explanation. Just either strap in or get off the ride, man. That's it. That's all I can say.
And I'm with you. Like I'm all for. So what I've learned to do in this part of my life is I do what's called a Sabbath. I do take a day of rest.
You have to. Me too.
You have to. Like I've learned
My
that the
Sabbath
hard
is Sunday.
Yeah,
for
Friday,
sure.
Saturday. Because Sunday is just like I already know what's gonna happen Sunday. So, but that's the thing. Like my body had to tell me. I was going nonstop. I legit remember at one point I was flying somewhere every third day, and I would wake up in the hotel to figure out what city I was in.
Wow.
No exaggeration. I'm gonna look at the phone, and be like, okay, I'm in Atlanta. Okay, I'm in, and like my body one day was like, okay, you're not making this next flight, and set me down. So from there, I was like, all right, take care of your body. Definitely do that. Take care of yourself mentally. But my mom always told me, she was like, respect everybody's time. But if you make yourself important enough and you work hard enough, they'll wait for you.
Mm.
So I never wanted to be the one that didn't work hard enough or make myself that valuable that people would not want me in a meeting or in a situation or whatever. Yeah. So I got that from my mom when I was, 5. I remember she used to give me money to, don't kill me. She used to give me $10 to cut grass. This is when we did have grass. This is way down the line. I would give the neighbor 5 and keep 5. So
You had a hustle.
yeah, it was like because
50% profit? That's good.
and I say that because the way I do my life now is every deal I do makes every party happy.
Mm.
So my mom was happy because the grass was cut. My neighbor was happy because he got $5, and I was happy because I got $5. So it's like, you know, I would never do a deal or an agreement or anything in which it does not benefit all parties. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people now. People are always looking for a shortcut. People are always trying to figure out how they can get over. And it's like, if you do good business, you don't have to do any of that.
The path of least resistance has traveled more now than it ever has ever.
Yeah.
And people are on that highway, and they need an easy pass for it at this point because that thing's getting jammed up. But it makes it easier for you, I, and her, and everybody else out there watching who understands what we're saying. It makes us easier for us to succeed because the pool is so thin now of people who are actually striving out there that it's actually clearing a little bit more of a way for us. And that right there is a purpose.
Yeah.
I know that if I got to do this before people start waking up again. I got to start rocking and rolling before my competition starts. It's almost like Pearl Harbor. We don't want to wake the sleeping giant. Let them chill out and sleep. There's a lot of people out there with so much potential who don't even know they have it because they'd rather just sit around. And I want them to sit around right now. I got shit to do. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to promote them or get them. I'm not going to try and pump them up to go do what they got to do. You sit right there, my man. Yeah. Or lady, I'm gonna take care of me, and I'm gonna take advantage of your sleep and nap. You know what I mean?
Because that's my thing. Like the thing about the whole state of Virginia, and especially the 7 cities, is so much opportunity. Like when I say I could live anywhere, I lived in LA, Miami, New York, Atlanta, Toronto. I came back here because out of all those places I've traveled, I love this place the most, believe it or not.
Me too, and that's exactly right. And I'm not a fan of the 757. I live here.
Yeah.
This is where I live. This is where I want to be. I came back. I love the 757. For what reasons? I can't sit here and give you an exact reason why. I could if I wanted to, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is the opportunity and the people and the diversity and everything that's going on here. It's just so much opportunity, and none of it's even capped at all. None of it has even come out of the water yet. We're not even breaching the if all the opportunity would actually collectively get together and work and rise up. What you were talking about at the beginning of this interview or this podcast is you said, where was I going with this?
What, with the city?
No, as far as Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, like,
That's
we're
how
drinking
real
this.
this
I
shit
don't
is.
know. What did we say?
No, but anyway, so what I'm saying is that there's so much potential and opportunity for everybody to come up at once.
Yeah.
That if we would all just come up together at once, that's what I'm waiting for. And I think that's the biggest thing that attracts me to this is that there's these little sub cells or these little cell groups of people who are so powerful and they're all looking for the same thing here. One day it's all going to connect. And I guess that's what I'm getting at.
I mean, it's starting.
It's starting
For sure.
But one day it's going to, one day all the
with the
stars are
culinary
going to line
and
up.
the recognition for that,
Right.
like we talked about,
Right.
competitions here, Michelin stars here, things that need to be here.
What I meant to say, whatever, I remember what I was saying. You said that when you were in Miami earlier, okay? You were talking about how you would go there and it would be all live. It'd be live and direct, right in your face. And they would be talking about how we were on horses, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is what that starts from is where does everybody go? Hospitality, restaurants, bars, liquor, entertainment. That's where that's where you're seen. So you can have this huge foundation of greatness, but until that whole circle comes together with the hospitality groups and people like us, that's where people start noticing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And until that whole group comes up together, you have the foundations of business, you have the structures of your city's treasuries and all that stuff. But then you have, why do the people from the outside notice it? The top of that iceberg is the hospitality, the entertainment, the look-see, the be here, be seen there. The what?
The draw.
The draw.
I mean, and we have a lot to offer here, and you work with the city of Virginia Beach day in and day out trying to make shit happen here. And it's, there's always problems. We all know that. But overall, if you compare this area to anywhere else, I mean, I had opportunities to go to Miami too and stuff, like when in the restaurant business, and I never wanted to leave here. And I mean, I grew up outside of Detroit, but I ain't going back to the cold. Like, this is as far north as I'm going, but I never wanted to leave here. And I think it's just a testament to everybody who's stayed in this area. And it is like, I think we're on the precipice of it's going to just come out of the water like a full on.
Exactly. We have a funnel. We have so much talent. And I'm not talking about local talent. Every city and every state and every region has their local talents. I'm talking about international talents. We have people on international platforms here that are very close to us, and we're very close to them. And it's not because of starstruck or anything. That's because we're all in the same struggle, and they are real people. They walk amongst us. They're in our streets. They're in our restaurants. They hang out with us. And that gives us inspiration because now we're going to come up together because someone's going to be leading the charge, of course, because they've done it first. But we're all going to come up together and rise up, man. And I think that goes for any big city that's already known. That has happened.
Yeah.
It may not be the case now, but it has happened.
It will be.
Las Vegas came from the desert sand.
Absolutely.
All because of entertainment, hospitality, restaurants, casinos, fuckery. Come get some. You know what I mean? All that shit.
We got all the fuckery we need every day.
We have it all, man. And it's very inspiring talking to like-minded business people, especially in this fucking industry. I can't say it enough, because that's where we're at.
Well, I am excited about the new brand, and I'm on board to help you. You want to brainstorm ideas and taglines? I've got
here,
you.
trust me.
Oh, I've got you.
I need to hear your slogans too. I'm here for that.
We will have some
got a
fun.
lot. Yeah,
we will have some fun with that for sure. But yeah, I mean, you got our support, so we can't wait to get all that going. I'll be there with you.
And mine as well. Like I said, when I first saw this place, it definitely reminds me of but that's the thing. It reminds me of an out-of-state vibe, but it's what we should be doing here.
Yeah.
It's what and where I get my inspiration from is people like you, man. I get it from going out of town, and I don't necessarily try and emulate them. I want my vibe here.
Yeah.
I know I can produce it. I know I'm on top of it. And when it comes to the cooking, the chefing, the entertainment, the wines, I want to make sure that I am also bringing the same level that's expected in these cities. I want it here because why do I want to go somewhere else to do it? I don't have to move. Why do I have to move to Chicago to open up this place to be successful? There are people here who have the same palate.
That part.
So many people from here go to Italy, they go to Chicago, they go to Miami to
time.
eat. So why do they have to spend so much money on a plane ticket? They can come right here. And that's what I think the rest of a lot of chefs in the area are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think
If
it's by
you build
default.
it, they will come.
Yeah.
And
that's the
it's
thing.
Just like
the
the whole
education's out
trailer.
there.
We're gonna start a revolution.
love
Get everything started between here.
We
So.
got
I'm
this.
saying.
So, all right.
saying.
Well,
So-
where can everybody find information on the brands too?
So Taiku, www.trytaiku.com, davosbrand.com. Of course, to find me, what's my Instagram?
You don't even know. He's
That's
barely
how-
on his Instagram.
Yo, it's so wild at Lynx Taiku. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's it.
Lynxtyku on Instagram.
Or we followed him from the Burnt Hands one. You can find him
There we
there
go.
too.
So it was a pleasure having you, man. There's
all
so
mine.
much
It
to
was
talk
all
about
mine.
with
I
you.
know.
I'm gonna sit back offset here and really talk to you again, man. I want to get up together with you. And thank you everyone for following us. Thank you for subscribing. Please hit subscribe if you haven't.
I've
Burnt
done
Hands
do
Perspectives
the
here for it. Chefing, cooking, debauchery, vlogging, whatever the fuck you do.
The fuck we're
We're
doing.
here for it.
Everything you need.
Exactly. Cheers, my
Salud.
man.
All right, well, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm
Appreciate
leaving.
you.
Next time, ciao for now.